Hi, my name is Eva Steiner and this is my project Psychotherapists Around the Globe. I am interviewing the psychotherapists around the world and asking them the same 8 questions. I am wondering how mental health profession is in their country. Today we are going to Thank you for taking your time and doing this interview with me. Before we start, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm Vana. I'm a psychologist based in Athens with over 20 years of experience. I'm a psychologist and psychotherapist and a PhD graduate from Pantheon University of Athens, specialized in issues of violence, adolescent child abuse, victimization, bullying, and the prevention of various forms of violence. I currently work as a school psychologist and I'm also a psychotherapist. I offer online systemic therapy sessions for adults in Greece and abroad where there are Greek communities.
Tell me a little bit about your culture. What is some holiday or tradition that your country celebrate? And if your culture would be an emotion, what emotion would it be?
In Greece, we have two important national holidays. The first is a celebration of the Greek Revolution of 1821, less commonly known as Independence Day, takes place in Greece. The day is a public holiday in Greece, Cyprus, and Greek communities on 25th March every year. Usual celebrations include parades and other events on the same day or each eve. The largest event is the military parade in Athens on 25 March, while on the previous day, celebrations take place through the schools of our country. The second day, very important for us, is the Ochi Day. Ochi means snow, is celebrating through Greece, Cyprus, and the Greek communities around the world on 28 October each year. This day commemorates the rejection of dictator and metaxas of the ultimate made by Italian dictator Mussolini on 28 October 1940. And except these 2 days, I can say that Greek traditions are rich and varied, featuring customs such as name day celebrations, family gatherings during holidays, and special food prepared for occasions like Easter and Christmas. For Easter, we have the lamb, and Christmas, turkey. Rituals such as cutting of the New Year cake named Vasilovita and expressions of folk music and dance are central to community celebrations. Now, about the emotion, I believe that joy in Greek culture is a central emotion, often expressed through communal gatherings, traditions, and deep appreciation for life's simple pleasures. Joy could be captured by the concept of kefi, Greek word that represents a state of joy, high spirits and enthusiasm, often connected with music, dance, food, and celebrations. Greeks, I believe, find joy in every moment, whether it's sharing a meal with loved ones, gathering for a festival, or celebrating traditions. This joy is rooted in a love for life's small pleasures, like good company, delicious food, and conversation with others. Greek music and dance, like sirtaki, are physical expressions of joy. They are often spontaneous, bringing people together in a shared moment of happiness. As I think you know, Greek culture is full of festival and religious celebrations about joy. These moments are filled with love, food, and connection of family and community, emphasizing the collective joy of coming together. So I think joy is the emotion for us.
Okay, the second question, how did you become a psychotherapist in your country and what is your therapeutic approach?
Psychotherapy in Greece is not a separate professional field, but rather a specialization for mental health professionals. No mental health professional automatically becomes a psychotherapist simply by completing their basic degree in psychology. Specialization in psychotherapy requires additional training, which includes, among other things, theory, personal development, personal therapy, supervised clinical practice in some cases, and evaluation. Training in psychotherapeutic approach is mostly provided by private institutions, either affiliated with international organizations and associations or not, with significant differences by the type of approach. It is quite common for people without a degree in a mental health profession or any relevant experience to be accepted as trainees. But To be considered a psychotherapist in Greece, one must be trained in a specific approach, such as systemic, psychoanalytic, CBT, existential, and others. The concept of psychotherapist in Greece is not exclusive to psychologists. This is what creates dissatisfaction among psychologists as other professionals, such as social workers, educators, coaches, and other fields, can also become psychotherapists in Greece. Unfortunately, the Greek state has not yet taken steps to regulate the term, nor has it established a framework for the recognition and certification of training programs and trainers. Now, about my training, I completed my psychology degree in 2002, and I decided to train in systemic psychotherapy and family therapy. I have received training in systemic family psychotherapy at the Family Therapy Unit of Psychiatric Hospital of Attica, and this training lasted a total of 4 years, 3 years of education and 1 year of supervision of clinical cases. I also attended many seminars and trainings and started my internship in a public social service. And all these years I have worked in public and private institutions, while for the last 15 years I have also worked in private practice.
So the way I am understanding you, you can become a psychotherapist if you are not a psychologist, but there is no law regulations yet for psychotherapy.
Exactly. You can be a psychologist with a degree of psychology, so you are a psychologist, but for psychotherapy, there is no framework that only psychologists can be psychotherapists. So we have other people who make the psychotherapist in Greece, and that is a problem for us as psychologists.
And these other people that are not psychologists, are they allowed to work in public institutions or not?
Not for public. They can work in other institutes or private practice, but they also need additional training in specific therapeutic approaches. But psychotherapists from other fields like social work or educators, coaches are required to complete similar specializing training in psychotherapy, but there is no unfilled legal framework exclusively for psychotherapists, so the standards can vary depending on the specific professional background. There is no law for the psychotherapist. There is law only for us, the psychologists.
How society looks upon psychotherapy or any psychological help?
Traditionally, Greece has a strong emphasis of community, family, and other beliefs, which historically provided support and guidance to individuals in need. Psychotherapy took longer to establish itself compared to some Western countries. In recent decades, however, psychotherapy has gained acceptance and popularity in Greek society. There's been growing recognition of the importance of mental health and well-being, partly driven by increased awareness, education, and exposure to global trends. Despite this progress, there are still factors that may influence attitudes towards seeking therapy. This is privacy concerns, stigma surrounding mental health issues, and the preference for seeking advice from within other social cycle or family can sometimes discourage individuals for pursuing professional psychotherapy. Also in Greece, many people are unaware of the professional role and responsibilities of a psychologist, psychotherapist, mental health counselor, or social worker. As a result of this confusion, they do not know where to turn when they need to seek out a mental health professional for a psychological issue. It is common here in Greece to say, I'm going to psychology, but usually meaning that one is undergoing psychotherapy. Today, Greeks start therapy session without feeling ashamed or hiding. They no longer come up with excuses when visiting their therapist. The psychotherapy taboo doesn't exist that much, and I believe that the economic crisis can contribute to increase the number of people who need help, but due to reduced financial resources, they struggle to maintain consistent therapy. We have more people in therapy, but fewer visits. The common point among the thousands of Greeks who are undergoing psychotherapy today is that they acknowledge their need for help.
What kind of stigma is there?
Many people think that maybe the person who needs help is crazy or have a very serious problem about mental health. The problem is that how other people look you when you go to a psychologist. And I see today very young people, they go to the psychologist and psychotherapist without fear that the other people look at them with some second thoughts. So I believe this stigma is for older people.
And the second question is, you said something interesting. There is more people in therapy, but they have less session. So this is due to financial reasons or...
It is financial reasons, I believe, because I see the people and in my sessions that tell me this problem that they have. After the economic crisis, we have very different way in our jobs, the money, the needs that they have, the families. And I think the psychological support is not a priority. Or they want to come to a session 1, 2, 3 to have some advices that is completely wrong and go away to make their life with these advices only. But I think the problems many times are very deep. They want to need and to tell them what to do in 1, 2, 3 sessions. Also, except of the number of the sessions, they want to have many of the people, not all, they want to have this service with a low price. I think it's another problem for us. If you want to have your personality in these sessions and your knowledge, everything, I think it's very difficult for us as a therapist.
Is help available as well through like a public health system where the government pays for therapy session or just private pay?
Yeah, we have social services in every municipality, so they can go to seek help there without pay anything. And another very important difference from the other years is that we have slowly psychologists in all the schools. I am a school psychologist, public school psychologist, so parents and students can seek help to the psychologist, to the school, that is free.
What is your society teaching about child-parent relationship and whether these values of society also influence how you design your interventions as a therapist?
In Greek society, the relationship between child and parents is very important and is often characterized by close family ties, interdependence, and a strong emotional connection. This bond is usually very strong and encompasses both love and obligation. Parents are considered the primary responsible figures for raising their children, with an emphasis on protection, support, and the provision of values such as respect and care for the family. Families often demonstrate strong solidarity and support, with the traditional family structure holding significant importance. Cultural expectations emphasize the obligation of children to reciprocate the care and support provided by the parents, especially as they age. These obligations may include caring for aging parents or maintaining family traditions. These values certainly influence the way that therapists design their intervention in the child-parent relationship, and therapists are required to take into account social and cultural perceptions, as well as expectations surrounding family creation, respect, and responsibility. Also, it is important for therapists to understand how cultural values impact family dynamics and the behavior of each member. So interventions may be tailored to help both children and parents address the pressure and conflicts that arise from these expectations. For example, therapists may use approaches that encourage negotiation and open communication, facilitating families to express their feelings and concerns. At the same time, they could encourage parents to examine their expectation of their children and recognize how this affects their relationship.
Let's say the adult client comes to you and say, I don't want to see my parents anymore. I want to cut contact with them. How would society look upon such a request, and what would you do in this case as a therapist?
First of all, as a systemic psychotherapist, I work with the people based on their family, their connections, their feelings, and what they want to have for family connections. Then I will try to understand what is the big problem for this person, what he or she wants to make with our sessions, and if it's very serious problem in a family like abuse, there is very different directions that I will give to the person to make his or her life better. Because in the cases of abuse, I have some persons in psychotherapy with similar circumstances. We try to find a way to have protection of their lives and their families, and maybe connection and relationship with her family is a very broad problem of their life for the future.
Greece community sounds to me very like connected, the family is really important. It's like a collective society, and systemic therapy really suits this type of society, because you work with the whole system. Do you feel, for example, I don't know, psychoanalysis, there are more individual therapies approaches, Do you feel this would work for a Greece society, or is better like communal therapeutic approaches?
It depends. I think that people know today what do they want about their therapy. They don't come only because it is systemic or psychoanalytic, CBT, etc. I believe that it depends for what they want to solve in their lives. Many parents want to come in this type of psychotherapy system because they want to be better to their lives, to their family, to their relationship with their children. So I believe it depends about their problems, about their needs, their feelings, but it's very central to the Greek thought that family is very important. Family and the ties of the family. So I want, as a psychotherapist, to fix the problem, to make their lives better, to see the good things for their families and the good part of their parents.
What are the learned beliefs regarding client-therapist relationship, and can the relationship continue outside the therapy once the therapy process is over?
Regarding the beliefs, I can say that there is, first of all, trust and safety. The therapeutic relationship should be based on trust, and clients need to feel safe to share personal and sensitive issues. Second, I believe is professionalism. Psychotherapists are regarded as professionals who have knowledge, skills to guide clients, and clients often believe that therapists will maintain boundaries and remain objective. The collaboration, I believe, is very important. Clients often believe that their active participation is essential for the success of the therapy. Non-judgmental attitude, because clients believe that therapists will be supportive and non-judgmental, allowing them to explore their feelings without fear or disapproval. The last but not the least, I believe it's very important, is the confidentiality. The privacy of the information shared in therapy is fundamental. So clients, I believe, expect therapists to keep everything said during the session confidential, and the possibility of continuing the relationship between client and psychotherapist can vary. I know some kinds of this relationship, I can tell you. In many cases, we can see a limited relationship. So psychotherapists prefer to maintain professional boundaries and not continue the relationship outside of the therapy. And this is so that the treatment dynamic remains professional. The second is friendship or support. That means that sometimes clients and therapists may develop a friendly relationship or stay in touch after treatment ends. And however, this be done with caution, and it can affect objectivity and the professional relationship. And it's the continuity of support, which in some cases therapists may recommend follow-ups after treatment incompleted to ensure clients continue to be supported on their path. I usually make follow-ups with clients and maintain a relationship through messages regarding their ongoing journey, how their lives are, how things are generally going.
In case of the abuse, so that the therapist is the one that is crossing the line, where the client can turn to in this case?
We have Association of Psychologists, so you can report this incident there, or go to the police and to report.
Is supervision a must for a therapist in your country?
No. In Greece, there is no legal framework that requires psychotherapists to undergo supervision. However, it is an ethical obligation for everyone, since we are touching the souls of other people who trust us, to know how to do it correctly and responsibly. Supervision is aimed at psychotherapists who may be psychologists, doctors, social workers trained in a type of psychotherapy. And I believe that this need to change, and clinical supervision should be mandatory for psychotherapists. There is a supervision in some cases of therapeutic approaches. I had 1 year of the supervision, and then it's not obligated.
What are the most common complaints that the clients come to therapy for?
It is true that all people go to therapy address something specific like anxiety, depression, or anything else. I can say that talk about everything in therapy. They talk about their hopes, their dreams, fears, disappointments, conversations with their parents, interactions with their parents, failures as parents, negative thoughts, or anything else. They might also discuss for their feelings in the here and now. About many events, despite being pleasant, can completely change their life circumstances and emotions, making them extremely stressful, like a new relationship, moving to another country, a pregnancy, marriage, a new role to their jobs, and all these new challenges that can pressure on them. But I believe that the issues that mainly concern them are their relationships, disagreements, conflicts, separation, in general, the difficulties they face in their relationship with their parents or their children.
And would you say that there is events in Greek history that maybe influence the whole population, and you can still see the consequences of these traumatic events, like a generational trauma or something?
Many crises here in Greece, like economic crisis 2010 and COVID-19, were very important about Greek people and their psychology. We have in psychotherapy people with problems after that, a lot of children and adolescents that they are the victims of this crisis because they feel the difficulties of their family. Parents have lost their works, the economic situation is changed, and we have a lot of problems after all this. And the thing about COVID-19 was that children and not socialization with other children of their age. So we have really problems of behavior to the schools. So we want to change this part of our lives. We have extremely serious problem with some children. They are extremely angry, and we have some kinds of bullying and other abusive behaviors in the school and out of the schools.
If you would share one tool, belief, or approach that is a must-have for you as a therapist, what would that be?
A tool that is essential for me as a psychotherapist is empathy. I believe that empathy allows me to understand more deeply the feelings and experience of those being treated, thus creating a safe and supportive environment. This skill not only helps build trust in the therapeutic relationship, but also facilitates understanding of the challenges and the difficulties clients face. Empathy helps create a strong emotional bond with clients, which is critical to the success of therapy. And it also allows for an understanding of the perspectives and feelings of those being treated, which is essential for the development of individualized interventions. In this way, I believe that the therapist recognize the client's emotions, helping them to explore their thoughts and feelings in depth. Empathy helps clients from the other side feel that someone truly understands them, and thereby offering the support they need to move forward. Overall, I believe that empathy contributes to achieving positive results in the therapeutic process.